Everywhere he is pervading the time, place and objectivity. Time, space and object. So which place is auspicious and which place is inauspicious? There is nothing like that for him. For you, just because you think with your head, is that more auspicious? Or because you, through your genitals and your anus, you pass out things, do those two become inauspicious because they are throwing out dirt? Both are equally important. You don't even think about it in that manner. See? So, for a common man, he must eat to survive, and for that, people at the food level, we every day, today we said, okay, we will have minestrone soup, another day we'll say, oh, we'll have pasta, we'll say we'll have today dal rice, another day we'll say this, we'll say that, and we have choices for ourselves, isn't it? But for a realized master, will he have any choices? Will he have any likes and dislikes? No. We may have. Here there are kids, they do not eat, some of them don't eat pumpkin, some of them don't eat eggplant, some of them don't eat, some other things. Why? Likes and dislikes. I like this food, I don't like that food. But for a master, for a wise man, everything is he alone. So whatever the providence provides, whatever the totality provides me, so be it. Whatever comes his way, he takes. You read the story of Ramdas, you read that? You take it from him. You have, na uncle, that book?
Yeah, must have been. I don't know.
Give it to them to read. You read that book. Experiment he does. What does it mean to live at the mercy of the Lord? For 9 years he lived. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. He did not ask for food even once. He did not decide where he should go or he should not go even once. You read it? This time if I go, I get more copies. And when it was provided, he said, thank you, Ram. If it is not provided, he says, thank you, Ram. I think you know, maybe I overate here yesterday, so you have not provided. I got no complaints. See, the two things that at the time of death, one is the taste, the tongue, is the most difficult to conquer. One is the speech is difficult to conquer, and second is the taste that is very difficult to conquer. If these two you can conquer, in the previous one it came silence, isn't it? Now in this one it is coming the food. So catch the silence and control the food. Food meaning what you take in. And food, one is the physical food that you take in. Another way you can understand what are the sense stimuli that are going in continuously through the eyes, ears, nose, tongue. What are the stimuli you are allowing yourself? Is it the continuous rap music or that funny music that goes on? What type of pictures that you allow? What type of thoughts do you allow? What type of sensations do you allow to be going into your mind? Because whether you like it or not, continuously they are going in. Right now, it is hot out here because of this heater. It's happening. Is it in my control? No. But if I react to it, it has gone in. And that is with any other stimuli in the world. If I react, it has gone in, meaning it has gone and created an impression on the mind. But if I remain undisturbed, equanimous, then nothing in this creation, no stimuli in this creation can have a sway over me. Isn't it? This is how a wise man lives, continuously alert. Our attitude to food and the sensual delight it can offer, as well as its relationship to the image and perpetuation of the body that we have, makes it one of the crucial areas where we must exercise control to help the seeker shed his slavery to his eating patterns. The scriptures first of all classify eating habits according to sattva, rajas, tamas, and here they are given the way. I'm not going to go into that. Yeah, it's given in Bhagavad Gita chapter 17. The various verses are there. See, till we don't control ourselves, we smoke. When the problem comes, then suddenly we stop smoking. But already the damage is done. We eat sweets. People say, "Arey, eat less, don't eat too much, this, that." But we don't listen. Then problem comes, suddenly we stop the sweets. But the damage is done. We overdo everything. Nothing is in limits. So here, the seeker on the path of knowledge should try to maintain the state of equanimity in all the experiences of life. In order to achieve this perspective, let us examine it from various angles. First, if we look at the world, we can easily understand one thing about it. The only constant factor, the unchanging factor in this world is that it is continuously changing. If it is continuously changing, what can you hold on to in this world? You cannot hold on to anything. Our misery is that we want to hold on to a particular meditation also. Arey, that meditation was fantastic. I wish I can get into that type of zone once again. Isn't it? But is it possible? Come to this conclusion once and for all, that the world is continuously changing. What you have experienced right now, at this moment, it will never be repeated ever again in your life. What? It will not be repeated? No, it will not be repeated. What? Today I had minestrone soup. Will it not be repeated? Whatever the minestrone soup is made next time, 1 week later, you will be 1 week old, the vegetables will be different. The carrots, yes, carrots is, the vegetables are, the names of the vegetables are same, but the vegetables are different, the water is different, the proportion of the salt, chilies, etc. is different, the time is different. You are no longer the same person who tasted the previous minestrone soup.